The reason why the state filed this motion is because, again, based on Mr. Cruz's proffer back on the 21st, we believe that he is referencing calls made to a number ending in 9554. So the motion is to exclude any evidence relating to 9554 because that wasn't her number. It's irrelevant, and it's also, out under 403. That would be the state's position.
Mr. Cruz?
They can proceed with their motion, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Bolden.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hall, can you raise your right hand, please, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in the matter pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. And we're going to need you to kind of maybe pull that microphone a little bit closer to you and kind of, you don't have to speak directly into it, but
Okay.
enough so that everybody can hear you, okay?
Is that better?
Yes, absolutely. Could you please state your name for the record?
Ashley Hall.
And Ms. Hall, I'm not going to go into it too much in detail now, but how do you know, or how did you know Tara Baker?
We met in college. We were sorority sisters, roommates, and then we both came to Athens and were roommates.
Okay. I want to talk to you about some of the different places that you lived in Athens. Do you recall living in an apartment at Timothy Woods?
I do.
Who did you live with at Timothy Woods?
It was Kyle Collins and Karen Burford.
Okay. And do you know how to spell Karen's name?
I believe it is Karen.
Okay. And I just go ahead and get this out of the way. Is Miss Burford still alive?
No, unfortunately, she had a kayaking accident back in 2022.
So, again, at Timothy Woods, it was you, Karen, and Kyle. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And did there come a time when you moved out of Timothy Woods?
Yes, it was, I guess, August 99. I ended up moving. I didn't realize Tara ended up getting her job at the law firm around that time, but I'd already signed over a lease. So she ended up moving in my spot at Timothy Woods with Kyle and Karen.
And again, that was in August of 99?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you move when you moved out of Timothy Woods?
Polo Club.
Okay. And who were your roommates at the Polo Club?
Valerie Lang and two girls that she went to high school with.
I'm going to kind of skip ahead about a year.
Mm-hmm.
In August of 2000, did you move again?
I did.
And where did you move that time?
We moved to Fawn Drive.
When you say we, who moved into Fawn Drive?
Tara, Valerie Lang, and myself.
Tara, Valerie Lang, and yourself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall around the time moving into 160 Fawn Drive, anything with Tara as it related to her getting a new phone number?
Yes, Karen was staying at Timothy Woods, and she wanted to keep the current phone number that they had shared because all of her contacts already had it. So when Tara moved, she went ahead and got her own line, which actually was even separate from Valerie and my line, just because with law school, she was on the internet a lot more.
Was that in the days of dial-up internet?
Yes, it definitely was, yes.
Okay. Ms. Hall, do you remember in the days following Miss Baker's death talking to the police?
Many times, yes.
And at one time, do you recall the fact or I guess the existence of Tara's phone number at Fawn Drive coming into question?
Yes, I do.
Now, as you sit here now, 25 years later, are you able to recall off the top of your head exactly what that number
I do not. I cannot.
But at the time, would that have been a number that you would have known?
Yes, because I would have called her at different times to her actual phone number.
Was this in the days prior to cell phones?
Yes. So if I was checking to see if she was at home or updates, I would have called her number. And so I had the number memorized back at that time.
And would you have had any reason to give the police an incorrect number as to what?
Not at all. I would have probably even double checked my memory to make sure.
May.
So I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 1. Have you had a chance to look over that prior to testifying?
Yes, you sent me my statement.
And is part of State's Exhibit 1 summarize a conversation that you had with the police, I believe, on January the 22nd?
Yes.
2001? So
Yes.
would that have been 3 days after Tara's murder?
Yes.
In that statement, did you provide Tara's landline phone number to the police?
I did.
And what was that number?
Tara's phone number was 706-316-9760.
Any objection, Mr. Cruz?
No, ma'am.
It is admitted.
Ms. Hall, those are actually all the questions I have for you this morning. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz?
Good morning, Ms. Hall. Thank you
Good morning.
for being here. I don't have questions.
All right. You may step down.
Thank
You may call your next witness.
Call Jeremy Howell. Sir, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm your testimony in the matter pending before the court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Have a seat, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Jeremy Howell, Jeremy Howell.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm currently employed as a special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And what is your current role at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
I'm currently assigned to the Office of Special Investigations Cold Case Unit.
Agent Howell, in connection to the motion that we are arguing right now, did you have a chance to go back and look through some documents belonging to the deceased Tara Baker related to her residence and phone numbers in and around 1999, 2000, and 2001?
I did.
How did you come to be in possession of those documents?
On Monday, April 29th of 2004, about 9:30 in the morning, I met with Meredith Schroeder here in downtown Athens in order to collect a gray file box from her that contained numerous documents regarding Tara Baker.
I think you said 2004. Do you mean 2024?
I'm sorry, 2024, yes.
And what was your understanding as to where those documents had been located at the time of the crime?
That file box, to my understanding, was located at 160 Fawn Drive at the time of the incident.
So at Tara's house?
Yes.
What was the condition of the box itself?
It is slightly, it's got debris on it that may look like smoke damage and fire damage.
What I've marked as State's Exhibits 2 and 3. Do you recognize those?
I do.
And what are they?
It is an open envelope from Bell South, State's Exhibit number 2, and State's Exhibit number 3 is a communication, a letter from Bell South that was within that envelope.
Okay, so just to clarify, State's Exhibit 3 was inside of State's Exhibit 2.
Yes.
Maybe over. Agent Howell, were State's Exhibits 2 and 3 part of the documentation that you recovered from that soot-covered box from Miss Baker's sister?
Yes. Inside that file box were file tabs, and under a file tab that said Bell South is where this letter was located.
I'd move to tender States 2 and 3 at this time.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor, for the purposes of this hearing, as well as State's Exhibit 1 as well.
Thank you. They are admitted, 2 and 3.
I'm not going to focus too much on States 2. That's just the envelope, is that right?
Yes.
States Exhibit 3, again, just to make sure everybody's clear, what exactly is that?
It is a letter from Bell South. It is addressed to Tara Baker at 160 Fawn Drive in Athens, Georgia. And in the letterhead, it indicates that it's from Bell South Telecommunications, and it is dated August 1st of 2000. And underneath that is a phone number of 706-316-9760. The letter then continues with, Dear Tara Baker, thank you for ordering Bell South Solutions and that they appreciate her business. And it continues from there about the account.
Agent Howell, those are all the questions I have for now. Thank you.
I don't have any questions for this witness, Your Honor.
You may step down, sir. You may call your next witness.
Call Agent Elizabeth Bigham. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony in the matter pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can have a seat. Ma'am, if you could state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Elizabeth Bigham, Elizabeth Bigham.
And ma'am, how are you employed?
I'm employed as a special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And is that the GBI?
Yes.
I asked that because that's what I want to say.
Okay.
And what is your role at the GBI?
I am assigned to our Office of Special Investigations Cold Case Unit.
And as part of those, as part of your responsibilities on the cold case unit, have you and Agent Howell been responsible for the reinvestigation of the Tara Baker case?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And as part of your reinvestigation, did that include kind of a comprehensive review of the investigation from its origin back on January the 19th of 2001?
Yes, it did.
Does that include a review of files contained in the Athens Clark County Police Department's file?
Yes.
You may.
Agent Bigham, I'm going to show you what I marked as State's Exhibit 4. Do you recognize that document, ma'am?
I do. It is a letter from Bell South Subpoena Compliance Center. It's dated February 2nd of 2001, and it is addressed to Investigator John Newton of the Athens Clarke County Sheriff's Office.
Is that document part of the Athens Clarke County Police Department's file that I just kind of described?
Yes, it is.
In relative terms. I move to tender State's Exhibit 4, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections for the purpose of this hearing, Your Honor.
All right, it is admitted.
Agent Bigham, I think that the thing that might make the most sense is to just have you read that letter into the record.
Sure. I'll start with what it's in regard to. It says Tara Baker, telephone, or it actually says Tara Barker, telephone number 706-316-9760. Dear Investigator Newton, as we discussed telephonically, I ran 11 jobs today in an attempt to create call detail records for telephone number 706-316-9760 for January 16th, 2001 through January 19th, 2001. I have reviewed all 11 jobs, and I did not find any incoming or outgoing calls for 706-316-9760. I have entered a request in our subcom system to search for call detail records for December 1st, 2000 through January 19th, 2000 for this, 2001 for this number. These records should be available on Monday morning. I found another number for Tara Barker, telephone number 706-559-9554. This number is found for Tara Barker, 2035 Timothy Road, Timothy Woods Apartments, Athens, Georgia. This number appears to be associated with the same Tara Barker that had telephone number 706-316-9760. Do you want to send a court order for call detail records on this number also? Please call me at 770-492-4561 to discuss further. Sincerely, Kathleen Mahoney.
And just, I think now's a good time to talk a little bit about the Baker versus Barker. Can you
Yes.
speak to that just very, very briefly?
Sure. Our understanding from the investigation and from her family was that her biological father's name was Barker, or last name was Barker. Her stepfather's last name was Baker, and she wanted to change her name to Baker and get rid of her biological father's last name. And I believe that was a year or so before her death, but I don't recall the exact date that she did that.
May?
Agent Bigham, I'm going to hand you what I marked as State's Exhibit 5 and State's Exhibit 6.
Okay.
Do you recognize those, ma'am?
I do.
Let's start with State's Exhibit 5. What is that?
So it is phone records for the 706-316-9760 phone number, which was the landline for Tara Baker. And the records appear to start on December 6th of 2000 and end on January 19th of 2001. And there's also a Bell South letter attached to it, an affidavit, and a copy of what appears to be a court order or subpoena for those records.
Move to tender State's 5, Your Honor.
Any objections?
Not for the purposes of this hearing, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
Before we get into State's 5, let's talk about State 6.
Okay.
Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is State's Exhibit 6?
These are phone records for phone number 706-559-9554. And they begin on December 6th of 2000 and end on January 19th of 2001.
Move to tender State's Exhibit 6.
Any objection?
No objections for the purposes of this hearing.
All right, it is admitted.
Agent Bigham, in preparation for the hearing this morning, did you have a chance to personally go and review all the calls associated with both State's Exhibit 5 and State's Exhibit 6?
I did.
Let's start again with State's Exhibit 5. And again, just to be clear, those are the phone records associated with the number ending in 9760. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In your preparation of your case, of this case, and in preparation in advance of particularly this hearing, have you been able to familiarize yourself with certain phone numbers that were, for lack of a better phrase, in Tara Baker's orbit?
Yes.
Would those phone numbers include the cell phone of Chris Melton?
I would object, Your Honor. I think we've had 4 leading questions in a row. I didn't want to interrupt them, but I'll just object on the grounds of leading.
All right, well, I mean, for the purpose of this hearing, there's no jury here, and I certainly know that both parties have the ability to ask questions a little bit differently than in front of a jury. But Mr. Bolden, if you would try to rephrase your questions appropriately with regard to direct examinations.
Certainly, Your Honor. Were you able, or did you familiarize yourself with certain phone numbers?
I did.
And whose phone numbers did you familiarize yourself with?
Primarily people that I believe she would have spoken to most often, to include her stepfather, Lindsey Baker. And he had 2 different cell phone numbers listed in the case file. Her mother, Virginia Baker, or their home line. Her boyfriend at the time, Chris Melton, and that would have included his cell phone, his parents' residence, and his apartment in Athens. Because my understanding was that he was between both his parents' residence and apartment in Athens around the time of her death.
And again, talking specifically about State's Exhibit 5, do the numbers that you just referred to appear in those records?
Yes, they do.
Can you talk about that in a little bit more detail?
Sure. So I went through the records and looked for each phone number and found the following information. So Lindsey Baker's cell phone, ending in 8423, appeared twice over the just over a month and a couple weeks of records. Chris Melton's apartment.
Yes.
Relevance? I understand the purpose of this hearing is just to determine whether or not the 9554 number is Ms. Baker's home phone number or not.
Mr. Bolden, any response to the objection?
I think that the calls that are coming to and from the 970 number are absolutely relevant to show that the 9554 number was not her actual phone.
I'm going to overrule the objection. You may continue.
So Chris Melton's apartment phone number, which would have been his apartment landline in Athens, either received calls or called that number 37 times. Miss Baker's home phone, where her parents resided, was 1 time. Lindsey Baker's other cell phone, ending in 0598, was 2 times. Chris Melton's cell phone received calls or made calls 5 times to that number, and Chris Melton's parents' home phone number appeared 29 times in those records.
Let's shift to State's Exhibit 6. And again, just to be clear, what is State's Exhibit 6?
It is the phone records for phone number 706-559-9554 that was associated with 2035 Timothy Road in Athens, Georgia.
Did you have an opportunity to scan State's Exhibit 6 for the same phone numbers that you just referred to a moment ago?
I did.
And what, if anything, did you find in the records relating to State's Exhibit 6?
That none of those phone numbers appeared in those records from the same time period.
Agent Bigham, I believe that's all I have for now. Mr. Cruz may have some questions, ma'am.
Mr. Cruz.
Yes, ma'am. Agent Bigham, as the lead investigator in this case, did you review Ms. Baker's entire case file?
I did,
Every document?
as much as humanly possible for the probably 25,000 pages that it was.
That's my only question for you. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Fuller?
No, Your Honor, asked. It should be excused.
You may step down. You don't want to excuse. You want to step down.
Step down. Right. Excuse this here. Yes.
You may step down. You may call your next witness.
That's all the evidence
All
I
right.
had, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, any evidence you want to present?
No, ma'am, but I would like to emphasize for the record, Ms. Bigham's testimony that she's reviewed every single page of the discovery. And I just want to emphasize that for the record, but otherwise, no.
Any concluding remarks, Mr. Bolden?
I'd waive opening
All right.
reserve last word.
Mr. Cruz, any response to the state's motion?
So based on the evidence that the state presented, Your Honor, I don't believe I am in a position to dispute the evidence that came before the Honorable Court. So no concluding argument.
Well, that makes it a lot shorter, Your Honor. I'd ask that the court grant the state's motion and exclude any evidence related to phone records associated with the number ending in 9554.
I'm going to grant your motion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's talk very briefly then about a few other matters before we handle the email that I sent both counsel, all three counsel, over the weekend. Have the parties been able to confer about the motion that Mr. Cruz filed with regard to the statement?
We have not, Judge.
Well, let me ask this question. Are you familiar with what Mr. Cruz has filed a motion to keep out of that particular statement?
I am, Judge. At the initial portion of the interview, Agent Bigham and Agent Howell talked with Mr. Faust about previous criminal contact that he's had and things along those lines. I think I can state for the court, Mr. Bolden will be giving the state's opening statement. Mr. Bolden, I believe, would refer to portions of the statement, but just portions that have to do with Mr. Faust's denial of ever. I just want to make sure it wasn't a prospective juror. Mr. Faust's denial of ever having had any type of contact with Ms. Baker or gone over into any residences in the Deer Park neighborhood or things along those lines. We would not be attempting to introduce any evidence related or make reference to any portion of the statement that would touch on Mr. Faust's previous criminal history or conduct.
All right, Mr. Cruz, any response to what Mr. Yamamoto said about that particular issue?
Sure. So for those particular facts, I believe they would be admissible in regards to Mr. Faust's statement in response to Ms. Bigham's question about Ms. Baker and himself. But I would ask the Honorable Court to rule. I provide the Honorable Court with a copy of the transcript as well, the timestamps as well. But we would ask that those particular timestamps are excluded.
Okay, so let's talk about your motion. So the reason I wanted counsel to get together, and I know you all have been busy, so I'm assuming you may have a conversation in the near future, was because your motion, even though it had the timestamps, was not terribly specific. And so it isn't appropriate to make the court go look in the transcript for the moment that you wanted excluded. You needed to have provided that for the court. And so that was the first reason why, it's not just the transcript. It is not appropriate for the court to have to read through the transcript and do that.
So you don't have an entire transcript. You only have the time site. So if it says minute mark, hypothetically 00 through 005, the transcript would say what that language is in 00 through 005. It isn't anything extra that the court would have to read. You just go to the timestamp and say, okay, this is the statement, and vice versa.
Okay, well, I disagree with your assessment of your motion. Your motion was a series of timestamps, and it may have had a transcript attached to it, but it is not appropriate for the court to have to go look at the transcript and your timestamp and make a decision about what one looks like with regard to the other. That's for you to do. And so that was the first reason that I wanted counsel to get together and talk about the timestamps that you felt needed to be excluded. I figured the state was aware of some of those moments. Certainly, I imagined them to be the occasions that Mr. Faust may have talked about his criminal history in response to questions. I assumed that was part of what your motion was. But the court's not going to go through the timestamps. You need to provide that to the court unless you all can agree otherwise. So in the meantime, I'm going to certainly take you at your word, Mr. Yalamanchili, that you are not going to refer to any of those moments in your opening statement. And I will grant Mr. Faust's motion with regard to that. Hang on one second. Keep dropping my pen. I will grant Mr. Cruz's motion with regard to any mention of Mr. Cruz's criminal history with regard to opening statements, okay? But I want you all to at least talk about what Mr. Cruz's motion was so you can at least be on the same page. If I need to make a ruling, we'll have a motion, right? A motion hearing outside the presence of the jury. So at the moment, you are forbidden, even though you've already stated this, from mentioning anything about Mr. Cruz's criminal history, even though it may have been in the statement. So that's the first thing. All right.
Your Honor, before we move to the next item.
Yes.
In regards to, and I know the state has been extremely busy. We've been extremely busy as well. Based on our filing of the motion, I understand that we may entitled to a hearing on those timestamps if same becomes necessary.
That's right.
There are a couple of things that the state and I need to discuss that we just haven't had opportunity to discuss just based on the workload that we both have. So I would ask this, can we put a date or time certain for a motions hearing, which would at least give us a deadline to have that discussion, and if not, we could just present the evidence to the Honorable Court?
I don't know that we can do that. We've got a jury waiting outside. We're ready to start opening statements. I don't know how fast the evidence is going to proceed, so you're just going to have to use your lunch break and get together and talk about it.
No, Your Honor, I'm asking for a date certain.
I mean, we'll have a motion whenever I can fit it in. I'd like for y'all to confer first if you can. If you can't, and you can't come to an agreement, certainly I'll have a hearing. But, I mean, be prepared at every moment to have a hearing in this case. I'm not going to sort of schedule things ahead of time and things of that nature. We're going to take up things as they come. So you all need to be prepared for everything. All right.
Last housekeeping
Yes.
matter, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes.
We talked about WebEx. I've had several law enforcement officers reach out to me. I think even this morning I spoke to a law enforcement officer that inquired about appearing virtually. I told her I would bring it up with Honorable Court today. Is there a way that we could get a WebEx link to send out to those officers that are far away? I believe we have a Mr. Michael Moon whose father just passed away, and instead of him traveling back here once it's our case in chief, I would just like to provide him a link so he could take it.
Yes. That is actually fairly easy to do. It needs to be done more in concert with when you're going to present that evidence so we can send out the link, but we'll work with you on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So I'm looking through the list of things that we have gone through for the past week and a half. With regard to motions in limine, I've just granted the state's motion this morning. With regard to the telephone numbers that the state asked the court to exclude, which I have granted. I have granted the state's motion in limine for no mention of consent by the defense, no mention of anyone else committing the crime other than what has been previously ruled admissible, no mention of the legal punishment or sentencing or what the statute requires during opening or closing with regard to any of the charges. I am going to invoke the rule of sequestration. We're going to have to handle the Daubert motions and maybe a Jackson-Deno issue. Let me ask the state first. Anything else we need to bring up before we get started?
Briefly, Your Honor, we're filing in court this morning a motion to prevent publication of crime scene or autopsy images of the victim. You providing a copy to Mr. Cruz. It is not, a terribly long motion. I mean, the title contains everything that the state is asking the court to do. We would ask the court, understandably, there's media present, but as part of the Rule 22 order to include a portion that would prevent any outlet or any individual who's in the courtroom from publishing any crime scene images or autopsy images that contain Ms. Tara Baker's victim in this matter.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cruz, any comment on the motion?
No, ma'am, no comments on the motion. The only thing I would ask, I've been receiving a lot of day before, same day motions. I would just ask the Honorable Court to advise the state to provide motions within a statutorily required timeline so we could address those motions. But for this one, no, ma'am.
Thank you. The media is actually here, and I know that the media is pooled because that was what the order required. I know that's what the media typically does. Does anyone who is here from any media source want to comment on the motion? You have the right to do that. Anybody want to have a say in what they're asking? Does anybody who is here from the media have any problem with that particular motion? I see all heads saying no. All right, thank you very much. I'm going to grant your motion, Mr. Yamamoto.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's talk about the email that I sent you all. Let's talk about the email that I sent you all. And it was the email that I received on Saturday evening directly from one of our jurors. And let me just find it. Expressing her desire to be relieved from her jury duty service. Does the state want to be heard with regard to that motion? And I have her outside. I asked her to report at 9:30. We're running a little bit behind, but.
Your Honor, I think all the issues raised by the juror are issues that came up with many jurors during the course of the voir dire process. I think counsel for the state and counsel for the defense had an opportunity to question the juror about those things, establish that it would not affect her impartiality, and then either side struck her either for cause or using a peremptory strike. So at this point, I don't know that anything raised in the email that was sent to the court would rise to the level of excusing this juror for service. The state doesn't believe any further inquiry is necessarily needed, but certainly if the court wanted inquiry to be made, our request would be that the court handles the inquiry, not counsel for the state or counsel for the defense, since the voir dire portion has been completed.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz.
In regards to the email that she sent in the language, Your Honor, of course, it is not a lawful reason to excuse the juror, but I do believe that the juror is expressing that sitting on the jury panel for the time that this case may last would cause her a hardship financially. My concern, and of course it's up to the Honorable Court's discretion, my concern is that we're in the middle of the trial, we get going, and, what I've seen from multiple trials is, the juror's all of a sudden sick, we can't move forward with the case. If this is causing a hardship for her, I would ask the Honorable Court to consider that. I am unopposed to her request, just considering how long this trial may last and to prevent disruptions of the proceedings.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about how long this trial will last. Let's talk about that for a minute. So we have been discussing the case for a long time, and both parties have known that the court set aside 2 weeks for this trial. And it really hasn't been until very recently that there has been discussion about the case lasting 4 to 6 weeks. I do not believe, based on the motions that I've heard and the evidence that both sides have presented, that this is a case that's going to last that long. I do not believe it. and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we move as efficiently as possible. I'm going to tell the jury that. We are not going to waste their time. If we need to get here at 7 and do motions or stay till 10 o'clock at night to finish, we're going to have to do that. But I do not believe this case is going to last as long as has been described for the jury. I think it's pretty clear that the potential jurors were quite scared about the length of time that they may have to sit. It could last as long as 6 weeks, but based on my assessment of what I know of the case, I do not believe we're going to get anywhere close to that. I'm prepared to tell the jury that. Again, I'm prepared to tell them that we are going to move as efficiently as possible. I'm not wasting any time, and I will try to explain that to Miss, I think her name is Cameron. All right, I will bring her in here, and I'm going to ask the media not to film this particular juror. Thank you very much. And I'm going to have her come up to the bench. I'll have counsel join me at the bench. Yes, sir.
I would object to that instruction to the jury, and the reason why, Your Honor, is because
I'm not giving an instruction to the jury, Mr. Cruz.
I thought you mentioned that you were going to say that excuse me, well, to Ms. Cameron. And the reason why is because the state presents their case first. That won't be a limitation on their case. The limitation would simply be on ours.
Mr. Cruz, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Well, please.
You're absolutely misinterpreting it. I'm not giving a limitation on any party. I'm just saying to both parties that I have heard many motions in this case. I have seen and heard a lot of evidence that both counsel have presented, and I do not believe this case is going to take from 4 to 6 weeks. If it does, it does. I am not limiting either party, so you misunderstood me. And I'm not instructing the jury about anything regarding that. I'm simply going to tell them that we are going to progress as efficiently as possible, and we'll do whatever we can not to waste their time. All right, thank you. Could you bring in that juror, just the one juror that I asked to report at 9:30? Thank you. And, hold on just a minute.